And we welcome you to Circuit Day Spa, Francorchamps. Maybe that's how it's pronounced. I don't know. But we're at Spa in Belgium. I can't tell you that. This track, it is an Formula One track, FIA Grade 1. I do know that as much. Really don't know much about the track other than that. I'm not a road course guy, but I think we already know that. But regardless, this one still should be a whole lot of fun. I'm Joshua Coppernoll. I'm joined by Jonathan Canfield. John, how you doing?
Doing well, Josh. I hope everyone out there is staying safe and healthy. It's not the time of year to be getting sick. Learn from me, but happy to be here at the racetrack. Spot a very, very historic track. Seen a lot of different racing here. The 24-hour race that goes on here. Just a lot of history at this racetrack. Excited to see these drivers take off as got Michael Chow back here in the league and sitting on pole. And right next to him, Micah Barnett, this Chicken House Racing Team cars, yet again, proving their dominance on road courses.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go ahead and take a look at the starting lineup. You mentioned row 1, Michael Chow and Micah Barnett returning. Row 2, it's going to be Dustin Bali and Evan Hoopchak. Johnny Rapp will start 5th, Devin Jack in 6th. 7th place, it's Ryan Campbell, Samuel Stoner in 8th. 9th place, Matt Schlosser and Chuck Labano will start 10th.
11th, you'll see Phil Keck making his debut here tonight. 12th is going to be James Moore. 13th, you'll see Laura Wiseman. 14th, Daniel Ott. 15th, you'll see Edgar Sentinelli. Aaron Bray is going to start in 16th. 17th, going to go to Brandon Carl. 18th, Sean Campbell. 19th will be Tom Went. 20th, Kelton Armstrong, another new name here tonight. Benson Weaver going to be 21st, and Jay Bass not putting down a time, going to be 22nd. Do have a list of EOLs for a couple drivers. Devin Jack, the 49, starting in the 6th position, will have an EOL. Also, Laura Wiseman in that 13th position will also have an EOL to start this sprint race.
Well, real quick, John, who is your pick to win here in the heat race?
Honestly, I think I've got to go with that 24, Dustin Bali. Able to actually pull together a really good lap there late in the qualifying session. For much of the qualifying session, he was right there at a 25.852 or 8.57, 0.02 off of Evan Hoopchak's time. Able to pull a 2-minute 26.272. Found some speed there late. Hoping it carries here into the sprint.
Chow and Barnett, they both have been really, really good in all the races we have seen them in. I'm going to go with Barnett, though. Going to go in toe-to-toe with Chow. But the green flag is out. We're underway here in the heat at Spa. See Chow getting out to a little bit of a lead.
Now has gotten away for now. Barnett follows. Hoopchak and Bali, I mentioned how close they were early in the session during qualifying. Still close together here. Look at Samuel Stoner up in position here, I believe, as fortune of Devin Jack having a EOL start there.
Stoner
taking advantage of the benefit. Ooh, gives a bump there to Evan Hoopchak, I think.
Stoner not just up one position. Stoner is up a few. 8th to 5th already.
Just behind him, it's going to be Johnny Rapp. That's going to be who lost some positions. Rapp was in the 5th position at the start. Johnny Rapp dropping down the order a little bit. Ryan Campbell also losing a spot. Yeah, Sam Stoner able to get up and past both Ryan Campbell and Johnny Rapp, chasing down the 7 of Evan Hoopchak.
Stoner. We've seen him do really good on road courses.
Got a side-by-side battle with Matt Schlosser and James Moore. Got a couple cars involved in this battle here. It's also the 888 of Phil Keck. That's going to be the 29, I believe, of Daniel Ott just behind them.
Side-by-side battle. Stoner and Hubchak. Stoner gets position.
Stoner moving up early here. Got some speed here early. Hubchak actually might have an issue. Hubchak's slow.
Yeah, Johnny Rapp.
Yeah, they're back up in the braking zone. A lot of drivers going deep into the braking zone there. Matt Schlosser, I see him way to the inside.
That almost reminded me of like a turn 11 at Sonoma. Everybody diving it in.
Labano gonna dive it into the turn 1 there. Or I ain't my track name, honestly. I don't. Folks, I'm not gonna guarantee that I know what turn I'm talking about. I believe that might have been turn 1.
Kevin Hubchak gonna lose position to Ryan Campbell. Hubchak just struggling. Cannot seem to find a rhythm, as it's
Hubchak
not just going to be
struggling
Campbell.
hard, as now Moore is actually going to get to the outside of him here.
Hubchak holds on to the position for now.
Up front, Barnett has closed the gap to Chow. Putting pressure on Chow. Bali not far behind either one of these drivers up front making a mistake. Bali's going to have a chance to pounce.
These two start battling. Really might help Bali come into the picture. See Barnett going way wide there, using a lot of the excess track. Not sure what kind of track limits look like here. Oh, James Moore. James Moore hard into the gravel. Oh!
Another one off behind.
Who is that? I cannot tell who that was. I believe the 49 of
That might
Devin
have been
Jack.
Devin Jack.
Yeah. Just went in.
Was the 49 of Devin Jack. Way wide. Able to get back on course with no issues.
The fact that he did not go out there and hit a wall surprises me. I think that gravel really helped out a ton there. Real life might not have been so lucky.
Looking back as they run right now with about... my timer's always off, but I'm going to go with about 10 minutes to go, I believe. I think we're only maybe 5 minutes into this race. Right now, your invert spot is actually one of our newcomers, Phil Keck. But dropping back in a hurry. I'm not sure what's going on with Evan Hubchak. It seems like every straightaway, he's dropping back. I'm not sure if he's sandbagging or if he got damage that we're unaware of here, Josh. Bar looks straight. I'm very unsure what's going on with the 7.
I mean, the only thing I'm seeing is just the right rear, and that's not going to hurt him to an extent like this.
Well, we have seen before where if he had contact to both the rear and the front, and only one spot gets visual damage, he could still have front end or even engine type damage, because it just looks like he's being caught in every way. It's like his car. It's like his car's running low on power. It's very weird.
I'm just really confused. He might just be struggling. Campbell to the inside of Schlosser. I'm sorry. Make that the other way around. Campbell holds on to the position. Going back to this 10th place position. Phil Keck all over the back bumper of Evan Hubchak.
Oh, and Hubchak having issues right there. Coming up through LaRouge. Maybe not LaRouge. I try. That might have been the wrong set of name for that corner. I'm looking at a map that I cannot read at all.
Oh, Keck. He locked up the brakes a little bit.
I was riding on board there with Evan Hubchak for most of that lap, and it just sounds like he's struggling to get power down.
Battle that we were looking at a little bit earlier, Ryan Campbell and Matt Schlosser. I think Campbell is just doing enough to stay ahead.
Chow and Barnett have separated a little. I say that, and Barnett attacks a braking zone really heavy and closes right back up to the rear bumper of Chow.
We're about
Bally right now, no threat, but Stoner might be a threat to Bally here
5
soon.
minutes
Stoner
remaining,
is
John.
close. Yeah.
Sorry for cutting you off. Yeah, we are just under 5 minutes remaining in this heat race.
Which doesn't leave us a lot of time. About 2.5 minutes a lap with 5 minutes. So we're about at the 2 to go mark here.
My telemetry is saying 3. 3 laps left. Barnett continues to try to work on Chow. They both really seem even. Chow has been setting faster laps down than Barnett, but I think it's kind of a situation where in some parts of the track, Barnett's better than Chow, and in others, Chow is better than Barnett and is able to even the gap back out. Right here, it really looks like a comfortable spot for Barnett. He's hitting everything perfect. At least attempting to.
He is, and looking back at their lap times, it was at 10th was the separation between them in lap time. So I think it's just areas of attack too. Barnett is gaining on the areas where you would normally attack a corner, and that's what's keeping him close. So braking zones, long straightaways where you get a little bit of draft with these NASCAR stock cars. He's taking advantage of that as much as you can.
Yeah, no DRS, no push to pass. These guys
right there, that
draft.
set of corners is where he closes the most. It's a deep braking zone, and you kind of can float the corners. You see the stock cars kind of floating through them.
Seeing 2 to go. 2 minutes 32 seconds left on the clock. So you're through turn 1, and now going uphill. So, I mean, throughout this section here, from, I believe, turn 19, the last corner, up through this area, Chow has extended the gap. This is what I'm talking about. I feel like this is where Chow is better.
I feel like once they get through maybe 8 or 9 is where we start to see Barnett pick up the pace a little bit. From about 10, 11, you got 12, 13. Those pairing corners, 10 and 11, 12 and 13, 14, 15, up through 16, 17. And then, yeah, you mentioned that tight little chicane there of turns 18 and 19.
Right on board with Barnett for a moment. Barnett's still about 9/10 of a second behind, but now you see that gap just shrinking.
Right here, we're coming up through that section where you're going to see a little bit of attack, I believe, coming out of Micah Barnett. Getting ready to get into a deep, heavy braking zone. Right there, you see how much he closes right there. If he could just keep the rest of the lap close, he's going to have a shot right there in the last set of corners.
The white flag is waving. 12 seconds on the clock, so this will be the last lap. Chow right here needs to use the strength, start pulling away from Barnett. Eight tenths is the gap between Chow and Barnett.
And we talked about this first front half of the track kind of being where Chow is better, but we're getting ready to pick up into that section where we might see Barnett really go on the attack.
Chow's doing a good job so far. Not allowing the gap to close in any, or much at all.
It does appear that the gap is a little closer, though, than in recent times that we go through this section of the track. Barnett giving it his best shot here. A little sideways there, getting up on the curb.
I think Barnett gave it a lot of gas.
Barnett's doing a great job here. He's staying close. This is going to be close enough, I think, for Barnett to really try and take a swing at that braking zone. If he keeps this gap where it is. Wow, he went for it.
He did. Coming off the final corner, though. Checkered flag is waving. It is Michael Chow. Barnett, second. Bali, Stoner, Rapp, Ryan Campbell, Matt Schlosser, Chuck Labano, Evan Hupchak, and Jay Bast, the top 10. I don't know if we're going to get a word with Chow. We've struggled in the past after a heat race. So let's see. I do not see him available yet. But there is one thing I am always certain of, and that's that life's really not that complicated, and neither should it be when looking for golf clothes that fit your lifestyle. Palm Rack Golf is designed to allow you to move seamlessly from the office to the fairway to hanging with friends and family. Visit palmrackgolf.com today to browse their collection of fine golf apparel, including polos, pullovers, pants, and more. I'm trying to have that memorized word for word. So, John, another heat race, another Chow win.
Yeah, that was a good heat race battle between the two of them. I am listening to the race chatter. I believe, actually, Michael Chow has stepped away, but Josh, Micah Barnett is, I believe, going to speak both on the behalf of himself and Michael Chow. If you want to go ahead, I guess, and pull him up here. A little unorthodox for us, but I guess we'll pull him in. He is in the waiting room and ready to go.
All right. This will be a little bit different. Well, Micah Barnett, just a second place finish for you. But you and Chow looked really even out there.
Yeah, Mike had to step away from his rig for a second, so I just thought I'd speak on his behalf. So I think if he were here, what he'd probably say is, man, that guy behind me sure was fast, and it was really kind of him to let me win that race. But no, I was, I don't know if you could tell on the broadcast, but I was giving it absolutely everything, and just had nothing for him. It's he's fast, and I think we're close on time, but I think he's got me by a bit. So
yeah, it was definitely noticeable. A little bit of slipping and sliding out of you throughout corners. We definitely could tell you were giving it a whole lot. But another great performance for both of you guys. So heading into the feature, I mean, do you guys have a game plan? You'll be starting 9th and 10th, but any game plan to try to get up to the front?
I think the critical thing for us is just going to be trying to keep the tires on the car. There's so many really low-speed corners here, and you gain a lot of time by getting a good dig out of the corner, but you also use up a lot of rear tire, and so you end up sort of like I was. I mean, after I don't know how many laps that was, 4 or 5 laps, and I'd essentially burned the rear tires off the car. So I'd say game plan wise, stay clean, don't get involved in any incidents, be patient. I think we've got enough pace to get us back to the front. So keep the tires on the car and fenders on the car, and should be good.
All right, sponsor shout outs. Who gets it done for you?
Scuderia Chicken House, as always. Our homie Max, who's no longer with the league, and big thanks to Palm Rack Golf too.
All right, we'll let you get back to it, and maybe we'll talk to you a little bit later.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
And that was Micah Barnett, our second place finisher there in the heat race. We head to the feature, and this one, say it's going to be about 15 laps. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineup. We mentioned top 10 inverted. So it is going to be Jay Best, Evan Hoopjock on the front row, Chuck Labano, Matt Schlosser, Ryan Campbell, Johnny Rapp, Samuel Stoner, Dustin Bally, Micah Barnett, and Michael Chow. The top 10.
11th is going to be Devin Jack. 12th, you'll see Edgar Sancinelli. Aaron Bray going to be 13th. 14th, you'll see James Moore. James Moore on the last lap of the sprint actually, I believe, was in our invert spot or close to it, and had a black screen issue. Phil Keck is going to be 15th. 16th going to be Laura Wiseman. 17th, Tom Went. 18th going to be Brandon Call. 19th, Ken Armstrong. Sean Campbell going to be 20th. 21st, Benson Weaver. And Daniel Ott going to start 22nd. Not sure what happened to the 29 there. We must have missed something in the sprint. He was floating around the top 10. Josh, should be interesting to see what happens with him coming from the back.
Yeah, I noticed he was in the pits pretty early. Finished some laps down. We don't have time for picks to win. Space car is in. We're getting ready to go. And still holding. Still holding. Green flag is now waving. Here we go. Feature at Spa.
Oh, Jay Bass going to miss the corner there. That's going to open the door for Hoopjock and Labano, and there's some contact.
How about Chuck Labano trying to take this race lead? Side by side with Jay Bass.
Labano takes the charge into those S's.
Oh!
Got contact. Campbell into Schlosser. Stoner.
Stoner! Oh my gosh, death!
Oh, big one. Big one here. Big one.
Oh my gosh!
Lent got a piece of it.
Devin Jack hard into the wall as well.
Devin Jack.
This is the moment I'm going to say, I am glad this is a sim, because that was a bunch of hard licks. Take a look at the replay. See, Schlosser going around there. A little bit of contact. Ryan Campbell into Stoner. Stoner, oh, one of the chicken house cars was involved too. I can't tell if...
One, we've got a yellow, so we got time to look at it here.
I'm going to say it was Chow. Barnett's still in the top 10. Was the yellow thrown because of this incident?
It was indeed. There was a question from Dustin Bally on how many cars were involved to see if there was a need to throw a caution, which he asked if there was 5 or more, and Josh, I think you and I can confirm there was definitely 5 or more.
Oh!
And your chicken house car involved was Michael Chow.
Aaron Bray, Benson Weaver. Wow.
Stoner shot back out on the track in front of Chow, and man, that ride with Stoner is going to be one to watch. Stoner went for a wicked ride.
Man, I don't know if I've ever commentated a big one at a road course.
Especially big enough to say that we throw a caution.
Actually, I believe the Charlotte Roval in Sac one time. Or maybe I can't remember. I have seen caution on a road course before for incidents that have been big enough to warrant one. I don't know if I've ever seen one that. I mean, this track it's narrow in that section, and so for Stoner, like I can't tell you if he was hitting his brakes or not, and it wouldn't even made a difference. I mean, he hit that wall so hard.
Oh yeah, there was no chance. Even if he was holding his brake there, it was going to be a hard impact. He was angled towards the openings of the wall there, and just kind of hit it, and got spat back out. It reminds me of I think it was Jeff Gordon back in Vegas, I want to say, in the COT car, hitting the opening kind of like that, and it just spat the car back out in front of everybody.
Man. So, anyway, I mean, pace laps here are going to be a little bit long. This track is 4.31 miles in length. I don't know what that translates to in kilometers. In case anybody wants that, because we are road racing in Belgium. I don't have that information. But Chuck Labano, he's leading. And the move he made to get past Jay Bast was absolutely insane. And it wasn't just Bast, it was Hoopchak as well. Of course, this feature race, it is 35 minutes long. Sim was saying about 15 laps. Right now we're looking at 14. It's going to change with obviously the caution laps. Lights on the pace car are still on. So we'll see how this goes, whether we're going to see them go off at the line, whether could be sooner. We'll see, but last week's winner, though, in both the heat and the feature race, Michael Kruger, he's not here tonight. He's actually under the weather, John. And I talked with him. Both him and I agreed better this week than next week, as he will be at the real life Rolex 24 at Daytona, as will I. And a couple of the drivers racing in the field, at least one will be there as well. I'm looking forward to it. And I'll be there. I'll be in Daytona from Wednesday to Monday.
Yeah, and while we got time to even talk about real life stuff, how about the news coming out of JRM earlier this week? They're going to be entering Justin Allgaier into the 500 in a Cup car. Interested to see how that goes for Junior. Obviously, plenty of competition down in the Xfinity Series. Proven multi-time championship team. Allgaier finally getting his big break, getting that championship with the Xfinity Series last year. Longtime JRM driver. And also, in other news, anybody who follows the ARCA Series, Josh, I don't know if you've even seen this. Cletus McFarland, a.k.a. Garrett Mitchell, YouTuber gone NASCAR racer, going to run the ARCA 200 at Daytona here in a couple weeks.
Yes. I did see that. I've never really paid attention to his channel. I remember when he bought the Dale truck, and that's about it.
And before I do forget, I don't know if he's watching this week, but I do owe a bit of a shout to Mr. Benjamin Lacey. I guess he was here last week, and he said hello through our YouTube chat. So for all those in YouTube, don't feel like we ignore you. Come in, say hi. If I have chat up, I will definitely recognize you guys. I believe that's Johnny Rapp actually posting in our chat, maybe before the race. Not sure, but if I see you guys, I will absolutely say hi and make you guys get recognized. But yeah, Benjamin Lacey was here last week, Josh, and we missed him. And he let me hear about it this week.
It's Wheelman right there. Called plenty of wins of his. Fun driver to watch.
He was the inaugural season champion of the High Tide Racing League that races on a different broadcasting channel on Monday nights. As it looks like lights did go out on the pace car. We're stacked up double file. Won't lie, Josh, I have no idea where we're at on the track. Haven't been paying attention for a while, so I don't know if we're coming to green or not. Or how close we are to coming to green. I know we're coming to green because the lights are out, but I don't know how close we are.
You know, my friend Cameron Caldwell said earlier, I wouldn't know a right turn if it was pointed out to me. I know ovals. Give me 4 corners and I'm set. I don't know where they're at on track, but I do know that we are getting ready to come to green here shortly. Looks like we've got 25 minutes and 5 seconds left for the feature. Hopefully we can get this going. Get some racing action. Chuck Labano, once again, he is the race leader. Jay Bast, Evan Hubchak, Johnny Rapp, Ryan Campbell, they are the top 5. And Michael Chow, currently P18. He had sat in pits for quite a while getting his car repaired after, the reason we're under yellow. So we'll see if he's able to climb up to the front, or if this opens up the door for somebody else to say, not so fast, Chow. We're here too.
Well, who this opens up an opportunity for is the guy starting in row 3 on the left side. That's Micah Barnett, who was right there with Michael Chow in the sprint race.
Hey, we can do picks to win if you want. I'd take Barnett.
Yeah, you would do that as we're coming to the last set of corners.
Pace car is in. So we're getting ready to go back green. And it's out. Green flag is waving. Chuck Lovato wasted no time.
Restart rules.
Oh, contact!
Oh, boy.
Johnny Rapp. Oh. Tom went into Rapp. Rapp trying to get out of the way. He's in the gravel now.
Just gave the old boy a shout. Seen him in YouTube chat, and there he gets turned around and really T-boned there, as you mentioned, by Tom Wynn. So that's going to drop Rapp way back. Labano still out front over Hubchak, who got in front of Bass there. Bass went way wide on the first corner. Similar to how he did on the first lap when he led him to the green. Bally and Campbell able to benefit a little bit, as well as James Moore. Not sure what happened to Micah Barnett. It looks like he's dropped back quite a bit.
I was actually just getting ready to say, restarted in the 5th position, currently sits 9th. Something to keep an eye on for that 59. .22 minutes left on the clock. So Labano still the race leader. Hoopchak right there. Jay Bast as well. And it's kind of a train. Well, okay, I say that. Bass goes wide. Bali goes wide. And Ryan Campbell almost went wide. James Moore going to get past Dustin Bali. So now Moore P5. Barnett trying to get back into the picture, taking a peek. On driver's left of Ott. That's all it was just a peek, tucked back in the line. Hoopchak.
I've got a call out that I got to make here. The 57, Edgar Sancinelli in that 7th position. I believe there's a good buddy of ours over here on JCTV that would appreciate that scheme that 57 is running. If you get who I'm alluding to there, Josh.
Oh, my. Yes. And I can't tell. Daniel Ott, I saw almost just go eat the wall. Lost position of Barnett.
James Moore absolutely put a send it, stamp and ship it into a corner there to get around Ryan Campbell. Not sure if he's going to have a slowdown penalty. He did go off track outside the limits. These two continue to battle just in front of Dustin Bali. But lick the stamp and send it. I mean, James Moore absolutely sent it into that corner.
Bali gets around Moore.
But I think Moore gets the send of the race, but it's going to end up costing him, actually, as he lets Campbell get back by, and Bali now gets around. Credit the move, though. He took an absolute swing at it. No change in the top 3. We just talked about Campbell, Moore, and Bali.
Oh, Daniel Ott. Way out in the gravel. So
He allows Laura Wiseman and Micah Barnett to get... Or Micah Barnett was already ahead. That is...
Chow. Chow now
surprise.
top 10.
Michael Chow. Dicknow's car is very easy to mix up if you don't look at the manufacturer. They're the exact same paint. Just on different vehicles.
Laura Wiseman.
Coming into pit road, I don't know that she called it out. So a couple drivers behind her not expecting it. Dan Ott, I believe, was the one who almost had a collision there with her.
I don't think it was almost a collision. I do believe there was a tad bit of contact between the two.
Micah Barnett gonna take a spot from Edgar Sancinelli as Michael Chow, dude, running behind Edgar Sancinelli. So 1 car gap between Micah Barnett and Michael Chow. Micah Barnett already on the back bumper of James Moore, though, looking for another spot.
Yeah, Barnett trying.
I think he knows who's coming, too. I think he knows that Michael Chow's coming, and he's got to put the whip to it now and try to stay out in front. 2 of them being so close in lap time, he knows if he can keep himself in front, he's got to put a gap between them.
And Chow just got around Sancinelli as Sancinelli made a little bit of a mistake.
Don't look now, though. Here goes Barnett on Moore. More
Drivers
fighting back, trying to maintain that inside lane.
Barnett made a move to what was the inside, then became the outside, being driver's right. But Barnett was able to complete the pass. So Barnett now up to P6. Looking at right about 10 to go. Moore not giving up, though.
Moore putting up a good fight here as Barnett needs to just look out that windshield and keep trying to put pace down, trying to run the drivers ahead of him down. Driver in front of him right now is going to be Dustin Bally. You see, again, just one of the more attacking drivers through that final set of corners. Gets closed up to that rear bumper of Bally. And then on the exit of the corner, they spread back out. Still, Micah Barnett putting on a clinic here, trying to get to the inside of the 24.
I wonder if that was planned out of Bally to take a wider entry to be able to get on the gas. A lot harder. As you see, Barnett was there, and Bally started to pull away immediately when they got to exit.
There is benefit to being out there on that area of the track. What you don't want to do is, I think it's a negative if you're there in the center of the corner. Being there on exit is okay, as Campbell gets a bit of the dirt in front of him, going to kick up some dirt on a Bally and Barnett's hood. Both these drivers closing up on the back of Ryan Campbell, by the way.
Indeed they are, and that will be battle for third place. And fourth. All at the same time. Bally. He's not afraid to go toe-to-toe with Barnett. But not too far behind, though. It's Chow closing in. And Barnett knows that. Barnett's taking a peek. Trying to do the same thing here that he was able to do to Moore. Different circumstance. Still side by side, though. Bally and Barnett.
Barnett doing a great job, though, trying to perform that cross-under move. Knowing that the outside of the corner is not going to be his friend right now. Putting a lot of pressure on this driver of the 24. Trying to, again, keep himself in front of what I would consider to be his closest competition in Michael Chow. As Michael Chow is actually closing up on both these drivers here as they continue to battle.
Yeah, Chow has just inserted himself into the picture. Bally's going to go ahead and pit. Barnett, though, all that time lost battling with Bally, it's allowed Chow to close in so much that now it's they're together.
Here they are as we close up on about the 13-minute mark. Oh, you see Barnett. I think he actually went off track there a little bit. A little wide. Oh, and he's letting his teammate by. You got to assume that that's planned. Kind of an F1 style move. So Chow gets through. Barnett going to follow behind. Campbell still up front. Jay Bast and Labano have had some pit stops.
Most of the drivers have pit. Waiting on...
And with the caution, we might be looking at some just fuel strategy here.
Well,
not burning as much fuel.
I'll tell you one driver that did. And we're not going to... I'll give you a guess.
It's the driver of the 2-4.
Yes, sir. Dustin Bally. In his box for 3.9 seconds.
So that's what I was just talking about. The caution allowed these drivers to save some fuel. Even guys like Chuck Labano and Jay Bass, Ryan Campbell, I think they're holding on a little bit here. trying to run it dry even. So all they have to do is go in and get a little bit.
This gap is closing. Bass is getting closer and closer to Lobano. And Campbell is not far behind either. It's very quickly going to turn into a 5-car battle. Barnett and Chow right there. Bass actually coming into pit road.
I'll keep eyes on Bass, see what he does on pit road. His two Chicknows teammates look like they almost had contact there.
Edgar Sanchinelli also come down pit road. So we are waiting on
The J Bass off and away. Looks like another fuel-only stop.
the top 5 to pit.
J Bass going to come out behind the 77 of Brandon Carl.
So, right now, we've got about 7 laps remaining, and we are at the 10-minute mark right now. 10 minutes to go in this race here at Spa. Chow and Barnett still nose to tail.
Yeah, they've been nose to tail for a couple minutes, but it's funny how they haven't been catching Campbell or Lobano like I would have figured with how much pace these two have.
They're all going to have to pit. It's going to come down to pit stop execution. And then how well you handle the last couple laps. Chow really driving it in deep. Campbell going to come pit as well as Barnett. So Lobano and Chow still staying out. And Chow, remember, on pit road, was involved in that accident earlier, so he's got a little bit of fuel to play with here.
And right now I'm looking at Jay Bass, going to get out ahead of Campbell, Barnett, and he did get out in front of Bally. Bass barely going to get out in front of Campbell. Same to Bally. But they do get out in front after their pit cycles through. So now, if you're Michael Chow or Lobano, what do you do here? It looks like the leader could potentially be Jay Bass when this cycles through.
Lobano is trying to stay calm, keep it clean, and behind. As soon as I switched this camera over to look at Chuck Lobano, I saw the background Chow getting into the gravel, kicking the dust up back there. I think Chow might be pushing pretty hard, trying to get up there, close the gap. Jay Bast. Dustin Bally, you mentioned them being nose to tail. It's side by side as Ryan Campbell and Micah Barnett. Maybe contact. Campbell got wide and off track. Chuck Labano in pit road. Chow staying out. At least one more lap. Again, as mentioned, he's got a little bit more fuel to play with.
Jay Bast currently on this front straightaway where pit is. Looking at Chuck Labano, who's rolling off pit road. Bast coming through that first corner. Labano on pit exit. Labano gonna get out ahead of Bast.
Now can he get up to speed? This is a really fast portion of the track. So far, so good for Chuck Labano. In his box, 3.0 seconds. That's fast.
Indeed is fast. You know, gotta hope that he put enough fuel in the tank. I assume he would have. Just able to stay out here longer so he didn't have to take as much. Looking up ahead to Michael Chow, anticipating his pit stop to come soon. As we are down within the 5-minute mark.
Less than 5 minutes remain.
Not too many laps left. That puts us within about 3 to go here, Josh.
My telemetry is saying 5 to go. But there's 4 minutes, 23 seconds left. We're not going to make 5 laps.
If we were at qualifying pace with no tire wear and no fuel loss or shortage, and the car was constantly light on fuel,
We still would.
we still would.
4 minutes on the dot now. Looking at about 2 minutes, 30 seconds a lap. And here
Chow
comes
is
Chow.
going to bring it. So what we want to watch now is where Labano's at. As Chow's going through entry, Labano is in the last 2 corners now.
It's side by side as Bast and Bally. Bally's going to get past Bast. Maybe. No, they're still side by side.
Bast able to actually get a good run there, getting run a little wide, but able to drive off the curb. He's got some right rear damage, not sure where he got it from. Michael Chow rolling, but it's too late. Labano passed, and I think even Bally might get out ahead of him. Bally is going to get out ahead of Chow.
Wow.
So fuel strategy race is going to shake this up. Chow's going to come out in that 4th position. Labano's still leading ahead of Jay Bast, Dustin Bally, and Michael Chow.
3.0.
And Ryan Campbell got back by Micah Barnett.
3.0 was the box time for Chow as well. We're going to have ourselves, a battle.
Indeed we are, especially if Chow can find a way to rally here. He would have to have some killer pace as we're dropping within the 2-minute mark here.
Yeah, 2 minutes right now.
2.5 minutes.
We're going to be taking the white at the line. But we got a battle for the lead. Bass is there, closing in on Labano, really sending it in.
Jay Bass trying to do something that he did last season with this league. Take advantage of the invert. Finishing 10th in the sprint, able to start on pole. He's trying to back up, I believe, what he did at the Indy Road Course, where he inverted and won. Difference this time around is going to be that he's not battling his teammate, battling Chuck Labano.
And behind them, it is a battle between Bali and Chow. Them two duking it out. The gap has grown ever so slightly between Labano and Bass. Chow, here he goes, sending it hard. He actually locks up.
He does lock up. Bass had a terrible exit there off the set of corners too. Got up on the curb, cooked up the right side, and got loose. So the gap grows for Labano. Needs to put together just a solid lap here, and he'll bring it home to victory lane.
Sparty the flagman was waving the white. There is 38 seconds left. Don't let the ticker fool you saying 3 to go. This is the last lap of the race. And Labano, I mean, just, you cannot look in your mirror. Stay focused.
Absolutely. Right now, knowing all he needs to do is just put together a solid lap. Not even a good lap. It doesn't need to be a quality lap. It doesn't need to be the best lap of the race. It just needs to be a solid lap. Jay Bass is going to have to earn it if he wants it. And he's trying. Jay Bass is closing.
Bass is closing. And we hear all the time in racing, catching is one thing, passing is another. Labano wants it.
Bass wants it, and we have a final set of corners that allows for some stock car bump and run style moves. Now, I will preface this with, this is a road and plate league with a lot of road drivers. We haven't seen many moves such as a bump and run or a dump and run be used, but I do know that these guys have driven these stock cars plenty by now to know it's an option on the table. Contact is an option.
Got no one to hold him, no one to fold him. Labano still holding on. Bast not really closing the gap. He's not going away either.
But he's going to have to send it into the brake zone.
We're approaching the checkered last shot.
An effort. I think that's good. Yeah, that's going to be all
checkered flag waving. Chuck Labano, your race winner here in Belgium at Spa.
And I've heard the driver radio already chime up, not from Labano, but from other members of the league. Seems like a popular win here among the drivers. See all the guys coming up, giving him a bump, giving him a shot. Popular win here from all the drivers at the Palm Golf Room Plate League. Big congrats for Chuck Labano.
He drove his heart out.
He did. He played the strategy perfect, too. Between people, the likes of Michael Chow, who just barely beat off pit road, Jay Bass, Dustin Bali. He had to earn it tonight. Absolutely, yeah. They kept him honest. One thing I noticed, he just ran clean laps. Did not force an issue. No matter how close someone else got to him. As he gets a big shot from Tom Wynn and Laura Wiseman there during his celebration. Drivers having fun here at the end of the race.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the unofficial race results. And Chuck Labano, of course, the race winner. Jay Bass, P2. Dustin Bali gets a podium, finishing third. Michael Chow, P4. Ryan Campbell, 5th. Evan Hoopchak, 6th. Micah Barnett, 7th. Matt Schlosser, 8th. Daniel Ott, 9th. And Edgar Sanchinelli, P10.
11th is going to go to Johnny Rapp after an early incident in this race. So good recovery for the driver of the 52. 12th going to be Aaron Bray. 13th going to be Laura Wiseman. 14th, Tom Went. Sam Stoner, after that really vicious wreck, is going to finish in 15th. Devin Jack 16th. We've seen a lot of action coming from Devin Jack tonight. Eventful night. Brings it home P16. 17th going to be Sean Campbell. Brandon Carl 18th. 19th going to be Kelton Armstrong. 20th, Benson Weaver. 21st, James Moore. And it doesn't look like Phil Keck stuck around for the feature, but he's going to get credited with 22nd. Oh, actually, Phil Keck just crossed the line, I think. So, Phil Keck, 22nd. Maybe didn't start. I don't know. I seen a car cross the line. I might be seeing stuff at this point, Josh. Doesn't look like he started. But either way, Josh, we have 3 very happy drivers, our podium finishers. Let's go ahead and start it off. I believe you have none other than... Oh, we're hold?
Hold on.
Hold on.
Yeah, before we get there, I gotta remind you of something, John.
You can't do this to me.
I'm sorry, I gotta remind you of something. Life's really not that complicated, and neither should it be when searching for golf clothes that fit your lifestyle. Palm Rat Golf is designed to allow you to move seamlessly from the office to the fairway to hanging with friends and family. Visit palmratgolf.com to visit the fine apparel, including polos, pullovers, pants, and more. I didn't even read the script there. This is the first time doing that. I probably screwed it up, but visit palmratgolf.com anyway. Now let's check our interviews. Yes.
Yes, Josh, I believe you have none other than Mr. Dustin Bolly.
And I do. Dustin, a third place finish for you. It looked like a tough fight out there. It was really not predictable.
Yeah, I hope from the driver's seat, what an amazing race. I mean, from start to finish, I think that one had everything. You had a first segment where you had the 2 chicken house guys who were just far and away faster than everybody, and everyone else was kind of playing catch up. And then you had the feature that had the big accident at the beginning, and I threw a yellow for that because there were a bunch of cars that I wanted to catch back up. And you saw Chow fly through the field, and then Chuck had the right strategy call at the end. He came out just ahead of us and was able to hold on. So Chuck, I want to give a shout out to him. He's been with us since race 1, and he's been really fast all 5 seasons and has had a few chances where things just didn't go his way. So I'm super thrilled to see him get his first win. But yeah, what a race! I mean that's going to go down, I think, as one of our all-time best. I hope it was the same for you guys in the booth.
It was a lot of fun. It really was a big difference between how the heat race went and the feature. Kind of as you said, the Chicken House guys really owning that heat race. The feature, just chaos in the beginning, which I think really shaped the rest of how that went. It was really fun to watch. I definitely enjoyed that. Sponsors, shout-outs, who gets it done for you?
Well, first of all, I want to give a shout out to the Chicken House guys because I know that they're probably not thrilled with their feature race finish. They were driving really hard, but shout out to them. Those guys were super clean. They're super quick. I'm really thankful to have those guys, Michael and Micah on board. Personally, I want to shout out my wonderful wife, Rebecca. Thanks for letting me do this every Thursday night and taking care of everything else. My parents, Tom and Deb, mother-in-law, Karen, anyone else watching at home. I really appreciate you. And then from a league perspective, I want to thank Palm Rat Golf for continuing to support the league. This is, I think, season 3 of their sponsorship, so I really appreciate them. And then, of course, you guys who I look forward to every Friday listening to your broadcast. So thank you guys for everything you do. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for our next race at Olton Park.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to that one. And that was our third place finisher, Dustin Bolly. And John, I believe you're going to have Jay Bast.
Indeed, I do. And Jay Bass able to play the strategy there. Got a close battle there with Chuck Labano. It was you two pretty much the whole race. You decided to pit first. Go ahead and walk us through how that race went for you and coming home P2 there. You got to be happy.
Oh, I'm ecstatic. I love racing Chuck Labano, first of all. That man, I think Chuck is the greatest race car driver that ever lived. And, you can fight me on that. But, yeah, that was such an awesome race. I was so happy to, first of all, the end of the heat race, everything just kind of went my way. And I was running 13th for a while. And then all of a sudden, I think, like, James had a black screen. Like, Devin was off in the grass. Like, cars were just dropping like flies, and I magically appeared in P10. And that put me on reverse grid pole, which everybody knows how great I do when we start on reverse grid pole, But as usual, shanked it on turn one. Evan got inside me, and Chuck went 3 wide in all the way to the inside of both of us. So absolutely incredible. But yeah, we were just going back and forth on the fuel strategy the whole time. Do we pit? Do we not? Whatever. And yeah, I think we just both took a splash of fuel. And when Chuck came out of the pits in front of me and Dustin, I knew it was all over, and Chuck had the win, because once he has a good gap, he's done, And yeah, so super happy for Chuck. Had a really fun battle with Dustin as well, going side by side until a source there for a lap or two. And yeah, that was a really, really good race. I didn't think Spa would work well with these heavy Xfinity cars, but yeah, I hope it was as good a show from the booth as it was from inside the car.
It certainly was an amazing show for us to be able to cover. You guys did a great job as a field overall. I don't think we anticipated the depth that we got early on there, but it certainly adds to the crinkle of the enjoyment for the night. So we look forward to Moulton Park here in just 2 weeks. I'll ask you, what do you got there? And then last thing before we let you go, we'll let you get your shout-outs and thank yous for your sponsors and any teammates, anybody who helps get it done for you.
Yeah. Alton Park next week is definitely probably going to also have some carnage. That's a very narrow, twisty track, too, so everybody's going to have their wits about them. But, as we saw, it's a pretty good group of drivers here, and hopefully we can make it through unscathed. But yeah, shout out to Palm Golf. Big thanks to them for sponsoring the league and putting on this whole show for us, and you guys at JCTV for putting on this awesome broadcast. Thanks to Dustin for organizing everything, and huge shout out to all the Frito Sport guys. Ed Sancinelli runs a real tight ship, and is such a great resource for supporting everybody that just wants to have fun in sim racing. And yeah, so shout out to the Frito Sport guys. Shout out to TW3 Liveries. That's Tom Wendt for putting together some amazing paints. My paint, I believe Chuck's paint, obviously Tom himself, Sean and Ryan Campbell. Just a few of the examples that TW3 Liveries puts together. And yeah, he's an amazing artist. Shout out to Itty Bit Better, ittybitbetter.com, keeping the lights on for us as well. EV Part Picker, Homebrew Auto, and yeah, I think that's everybody. Shout out to Taylor behind the screens here, keeping me sane, giving me fuel numbers. It's always nice to have a partner that's interested in the racing period, but let alone is interested enough to do engineering for you. So. Shout out to you, Tail. And yeah, I think that's everybody. Thanks to everybody that makes it happen,
Well, Jay, we're going to let you go celebrate that second place finish. And before I let you go, we'll give you one shout out for yourself. Anybody watching on YouTube that wants to go see a driver's perspective, I believe Jay Bass actually does do Twitch. It's Jay Bass Blast on his Twitch channel. And I'm sure you've got your live going for your viewers, so shout out to your viewers and shout out to you for going ahead with that POV and giving people a show.
Yes, sir. J Bass Blast on Twitch and now on YouTube as well.
All right. Well, Jay, we're going to let you go celebrate that second place finish, and we hope to talk to you in the future.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
And that was Jay Bass, the second place finisher here tonight. And Josh, I think this is going to be an exciting interview. I'm a little jealous that you get to take it, and I'm gonna let you have it still. But I believe you've caught up with our winner, Chuck Labano.
All right, so I'm going to ask you the same question I ask somebody whenever it's a win for the first time in a long time or the first time I get to talk to them after a win. Chuck Labano, race winner. How does that sound? He's speechless. Chuck, are you there?
We will pull Chuck back into the waiting room real quick. For now, I'm going to reach out and see if maybe Dustin can get a hold of him or something along those lines. Give it just a moment here. Cannot always expect every driver to stand by their mic when we need them.
I just thought he was speechless.
I think he's got some technical difficulties. We're going to try and get him sorted out so he can. But yeah, are you guys talking about your thoughts for the race yet, or while we wait for Chuck?
I mean, we can. And I think really, I've already said what I think. It was incredible. Just so much unpredictability there throughout that feature. A lot of fun to watch and be able to call. And I say it week and week, every week. This league is so fun, and I'm glad that we get to do this.
Absolutely, very privileged to be able to show up here on a Thursday night. And do this as a broadcaster or even as a driver. If I were to ever actually get out on track. Excuse me for a second, folks.
Yeah, I'm going to drag Chuck back in here. I think he's back a little bit. Chuck, you back? Maybe? We're still waiting on him. While I guess he works on his mic. We were just going to go back to. I was looking at the stats, and Chuck has had a number of top 5 finishes over I guess the seasons now. We're on season 5, but his best run was at Rudskogen, which is about 6 months ago, and I think that was in season 2, if I recall correctly. Season 3 actually, and he basically led the whole race, and was passed by Evan Hubchak with I think 1 or 2 laps to go. And so I'm sure during this race when he was battling with Evan hard, he had nightmares in his head of that last race. And so it's just the great thing with these leagues is once you get into, your 3rd, 4th, 5th season is you have a history and you have a driver's progression and you have, moments that stand out and highlights. And so for Chuck to kind of, he's always been quick, right? You always know he's going to qualify in the top 10 and be a threat to finish top 5. But to be here, now in the middle of season 5 and to see him finally get the first win, it's just awesome from a league owner's perspective. I'm sure for the broadcasters, it's amazing. But it's great to see that kind of parity in this league. It makes me really happy.
Wow, man. That's a really good driver you're talking about.
I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to let you guys interview him, and I'll catch you guys in a couple weeks. Thanks again.
All right. Well, so I just want to know, first of all, Chuck Labano, race winner. How does that sound?
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. It also sounds kind of normal. It happens to me all the time. I don't know who this driver that Dustin was talking about, but he sounds really good too.
It was an absolute clinic out there in the feature for you. A great move right from the get-go, as soon as the green flag dropped, to get to the lead. I mean, what was going through your mind when you were doing that?
Well, to be fair, this is one of the advantage of racing with the same people week in and week out. Evan is really good on the brakes, but he also is a little worse in the opening lap. So I knew he would be going wide. Jay, I had a little more concern about because he's usually pretty good if he doesn't take out the field. So yeah, when he pushed out wide, I was all ready to go to get in there. And to be fair, I didn't think it was going to happen. So it was one of those things you think about. You hope it happens, but usually you're changing the strategy after every corner. But this one, it just happened to work out for me, and then nothing else happened after, which is great.
Yeah, and I mean, from a driver's mindset, at that point, you can think, I just got to nail every corner, hit my marks perfectly. And I know from my perspective, that's hard to do a lot of times. You're kind of your worst enemy. And so, was there any times where you're just like, no, don't, stay focused here. Don't think about what could happen. Let's focus on what is happening, and that's me leading this race.
Yeah, well, the guys that race, we have a bunch of us in the chat room, and they know when I'm serious, I stop talking. So usually all the brain cells get together. They go, okay, we got to focus on one thing, and we'll do that one thing. And for me, yeah, it's not strategy, it's not any of the other stuff. All I think about is the next corner. It's like, where's my marker? Where do I brake? Where do I turn in? Where do I go? It's like, this is all I have to worry about. And then you try and forget everything in the back. But every time you get to the straightaway, you're always looking in the mirror to see where they're at. And you're wondering when they're going to get you. Today, they didn't.
It was an incredible drive for sure. Now, coming to the pit cycles, you took just fuel only. I saw my telemetry said 3 seconds. 3.0 seconds was what you were in your box. Were you worried at all? The time from getting into pit box to getting back out on track, where Jay Bast and Dustin Bally would be in relative to you?
Well, I mean, they're all pretty good at the pit stops, but I am one of the guys that actually will practice and practice and practice. So obviously strategies will change throughout because I was going to take 2 tires at first. But with the caution, I change it. It's like, this is what I'm going to do. And it's basically, once I have it set, there's nothing to change. All I have to do, again, is hit my marks. I did okay. So I wasn't 100% sure that I was going to get out of the pits in time. But I want to say it was a pretty good pit for me. Not the greatest, but definitely not the worst.
Well, sponsor shout outs. Who gets it done for that winning 346 machine?
Well, first, whoever did the setups did a really good job. I believe Mike Thompson, and I can't remember who else had it. You guys do a great job of broadcasting. Dustin and the league, they're fantastic. I've been pretty much here since the get-go. And of course, my Frito Sport brothers, we're almost half the field, it feels like. But we help each other out. If it's not a setup thing, Tom's got the paints going. And of course, my wife, who is probably one of my best pit bunnies ever.
All right, well, go celebrate that win, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Awesome. See you then.
That was race winner Chuck Labano here from Spa.
And you just could tell from the interview, sounded like very much a deserving guy. It's almost crazy to think how well mannered he was during that interview for it to be his first win in this league. You'd almost think he'd won like 20 of these or something. Handled your questions like a pro, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. It's. I know when I won a race that was broadcasted, it wasn't a points race. It was just literally an all-star open race, which I won. I was ecstatic to win that. And I was all over the place with my interview. He handled that really well. And yeah, I mean, just congrats to him. Great job staying focused. And I think he really was the deserving driver to win that race.
Absolutely, and before we overstep what occurred in the process of him trying to get his mic figured out, we do have to say thank you to Dustin Bally coming in and kind of helping steer and guide our post-race show here while we were allowing him time to get his technical issues fixed. It was well worth the wait to get his technical issues fixed. Again, a great interview, a great winner for this race, and I hope it's not the last time that we see that 346 machine coming home in victory lane.
No doubt. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us here tonight from Spa. And we've got Action Saturday. Yes. We've got Action Saturday night at Auto Club Speedway for the Blazer Sim Racing Amsoil Truck Series, where I will be on track for that one. Tune in. That'll be our last race for a little over a week.
Presented by GGA.
Yes, presented by GGA. The next race for Road and Plate will be 2 weeks from tonight. Dustin Bally was really nice in scheduling and recognized that I would not be available for next Thursday. I'm going to be in Daytona for the Rolex 24. So, no action next week for Road and Plate. So, next time will be Alton Park. 2 weeks from tonight. Same time, same place, right here on JCTV. And, yeah, I think that's it. I think that does it for us here tonight. And big shout out to Chuck Labano winning the race. Great drive from him. And big thanks to the fans, the admins, and the drivers. All three of those things are what makes this possible. And on behalf of Jonathan Canfield and the entire outstanding crew right here at JCTV, I'm Joshua Coppernell, signing off, saying so long, stay safe, and we will see you next time.